Alright, so in the past year, there have been several near incidents between drones and civilian aircrafts, sometimes crossing within several feet of each other. Gatwick Airport being a prime example of this, people were stuck there for over a day due to a drone flying in the area. Now, most of you didn't know this, and I didn't expect you to. Now, I've never experienced this myself, but from what I've heard from both videos and news articles, not something you really want to experience. So, today, I'm going to discuss the problem that recreational flyers pose to civilians in regulated areas, the cause of this, and the solution. So, recreational flyers in public areas around airports cause issues for civilians. Gatwick Airport being a primary example of this, according to BBC News, people were stuck there for over a day due to one drone flying in the area. Now imagine 110,000 people stuck in their terminals for over a day, and there are over 760 flights that are due to either arrive or depart that day that can't get into the airport just because of one person that decided to fly a drone. Drones in these areas are almost as dangerous as birds flocking. Now, you've all seen horror stories of birds flying into the turbines of an airplane. Now imagine a plastic or metal aircraft flying into something like that. Doesn't seem very appealing, does it? According to Johnston Press, in 2018, there were over 120 drone incidents in the UK alone. Now, I've been flying, in the past year, I have gotten a lot of experience as a recreational drone pilot. And it seems that every time you turn around, boom, there is another law that the FAA has posted. Now, problematic drone pilots need to be taken care of. But to do that, we need to look at the why, the cause, if you will. Now, you may be thinking, so even though there are laws that prohibit people from flying in these areas, they're still doing it. Why? Well, to answer that question, we need to look at some rules and regulations. Now, according to the FAA, recreational pilots are not allowed by law to fly within 5-mile radius of a regulated airport. They're supposed to fly below 400 feet above ground level, although, permits, you can fly higher than that sometimes. And you have to keep your aircraft within the line of sight. Now, while there are some responsible pilots out there, there are some reckless pilots that do stuff like this. Now, it's not an absolute win for anybody when civilian safety is at stake. This puts a strain on the FAA and recreational pilots like myself when we aren't allowed to do certain things because people like this guy don't do their job and follow the regulations like everybody else. So, as appalling as all this may seem, I believe that there are solutions to this widespread issue that is still happening today. I propose a driver's ed style education for people that may not be educated like this guy. So, according to the AMA, or Academy of Model Aeronautics, their goal is to keep their members up to date on regulations, which I think is great because that keeps everyone safe, not just, people like me who are recreational pilots, but also civilians who are on aircraft that could possibly be damaged by this. They also send out temporary flight restrictions. You may be wondering what those are. Well, sometimes people put up these restrictions around areas like, if there's a public event going on, they put up temporary flight restrictions so that no one flies over that area. Another thing that I believe would help with uneducated or reckless drone pilots are drone clubs. drone clubs are a great place to go for inexperienced pilots. I know when I first started out, I went to a drone club. There were a bunch of friendly people there. They can teach you how to fly. They can get you up to date on regulations and all this other fun stuff. And it's just really a great way to get information on this sport. So, all right. Another great thing, testing centers. I believe that once the recreational pilots become proficient enough in their knowledge and skill, they should go to a testing center like the one at K-State Polytechnic and get just a little piece of paper that says, hey, I know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to recklessly endanger people's safety. So with that, I have identified the problem that reckless pilots cause to civilian safety, the cause of this, and the solution to this problem. Now, I don't want you guys to be super scared about this because they're not all that common anymore, but I still would like you to think about it. And maybe if you guys have friends that are in the drone community, maybe get them grounded with some rules first. So with that concludes my final speech for the year. Thank you everyone for listening to me babble up here, and thank you for your time.